Dealing with overwhelming emotions is like trying to navigate a turbulent sea when there's no shore in sight. Dealing with the unanticipated difficulties that life throws our way, such as juggling job, family, and personal aspirations, can leave us breathless. There are times when it feels like we can't escape our obligations, and many of us struggle under their weight. You are not alone if you have ever been overwhelmed by stress. You may take back control of your life and find serenity again. In this conversation, we will delve into practical ways to cope with that overpowering feeling and provide you with a taste of calm in the midst of chaos. If you make it to the end of this post, you will have learned practical strategies for dealing with overwhelm and may have even discovered a tranquility that has changed the way you live your life. Make sure you don't miss out on any life-altering revelations by subscribing right now. Being fully present is a powerful skill to have on hand in case you ever face a huge obstacle in life, like an unexpected crisis that demands your immediate attention. I have faith in you. There is that. However, there is an additional kind of mental overload that pertains to the thinking process. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it could be because of a single problem or a series of problems in your life. There are a number of problems in your life. They are not critical, but they are bothersome nonetheless. Consider the following scenario. You lose your job the very next day, and a close relative dies. Your partner has abandoned you when you return home. I am completely overwhelmed. I can't handle it anymore. I get it, but this isn't the real emergency. It's a little bit different. Anxieties stem from your rational mind attempting to make sense of things you can't change at this very moment, which in turn causes you to feel overwhelmed. These issues will arise in your life, but there will be a time when you can do something about them. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it could be because your investments have tanked, your bank account is dry, or you can't pay your rent. Feelings of, "Oh my God, I can't take anymore," are common symptoms of mental chaos, which can lead to feelings of overwhelm. How should I proceed? This is the end of my life. I am not able to handle it. It is imperative that you go forward in this situation. Once again, being well prepared is key. An excellent way to be ready to deal with multiple situations at once is to practice presence in your daily life. This is why cultivating what I term presence power requires consistent exercise, even when circumstances are favorable. When these challenging times come, you may draw your focus into the present now and out of your racing thoughts as your presence power grows within you. Breathing exercises and other methods can help you achieve this. The thought, "I can't do it now," is just your mind trying to tell you something. I need to give some serious thought to my issues. Practicing presence is just not feasible for me. This is an unfounded belief. Just remember that you can really take a deliberate breath if this notion comes up when you're practicing presence. Every single person on this planet is capable of breathing normally. It is up to you if you want to take a deliberate breath. Physical activity is helpful from a pragmatic standpoint. Get some fresh air and focus on your breathing in nature if you're feeling stressed. When all else fails, a trip to nature can do wonders for your mental and emotional well-being. Nature is always close by, even in urban areas. A garden or park could be only around the corner. Being in nature can help you focus on the here and now. Compared to city life, being outdoors is much easier. You may be just as present in a city as you are in the great outdoors once your presence power has grown within you. When you first start to practice being present, being outside is a huge boon. If you find yourself overwhelmed by life, take a walk in nature and just concentrate on your breathing and your senses. Giving it your all can help you break free of this mental shackles to a certain degree. An intriguing anecdote from my youth awaits me. My youth was filled with misery. While I did have some good times, my home life was often quite chaotic and full of yelling and rage. My parents had good intentions, but they were powerless against the effects of their own unconscious training. Because of this internal misery, I was miserable both at home and in the classroom. When I was around 10 years old, my parents gave me a bike for Christmas, and I rode it all over town. I could reach areas rich with cornfields, hedges, trees, and tiny groves of nature with just a 15-minute bike ride from this medium-sized city. Whenever I made it to this serene setting, I instantly felt better. The same thought kept popping into my head: this will always be here. I was a bit confused about the meaning of the concept, but it had something to do with the natural world. I was able to distinguish between the natural world, a sign of freedom, well-being, and harmony, and the human-made world, a symbol of misery. Thanks to this intuitive awareness, I knew. This happened to me multiple times. It was my first spiritual awakening. That is how amazing nature is. Most people have no idea that the majority of the objects in their environment are either natural or man-made. Nature and the man-made objects, such as buildings, automobiles, and furniture, that populate your environment make up 1/2 of your sensory experiences. I can see every single man-made object in my room right now. Nature greeted me as I peered out the window. Here I have a few houseplants, and it's fascinating to observe how the natural and man-made worlds interact with one another. The sky is always an option, of course. You can still perceive the sky even when you're smack dab in the midst of a massive metropolis with no trees in sight. The sky is a lovely thing that can stand in for one's own awareness. Jesus mentioned the kingdom of heaven for this very reason. A dimension of presence, an inner dimension, is what the kingdom of heaven stands for in my view. Jesus alludes to this immensity of presence when he speaks of the heavenly kingdom. In a similar vein, Buddha spoke of sunyata, which is more accurately translated as spaciousness than emptiness. Both texts emphasize the need of discovering this aspect within oneself. Together, these teachings show that despite appearances to the contrary, there is really only one truth and one authentic message. So there is real-life crisis-induced overwhelm and mental health overwhelm, both of which are manageable. Problems arise for everyone, and we are living through a period when people will be put to the test more and more. We will all be impacted by difficulties. You will be utterly miserable and unable to handle it if you are unprepared. Problems that mankind encounters are going to be an integral aspect of our awakening, but only if you're ready for them. As a component of the process of awareness evolution, profound challenges are necessary for humans and other forms of life to awaken. Thus, everything is okay in the end. From a higher vantage point, what seems terrible at first glance makes perfect sense. If you want the presence power to work through you more effectively, you must cultivate more presence. Your capacity to be a conduit for presence, a vessel for presence, develops with time, while presence itself is eternal. Even though we are in the temporal realm here, presence is eternal and transcendent. Let us pause to consider what we have learned as we conclude our discussion on dealing with overload. Even though problems in life can seem insurmountable at times, know that you have the ability to find your way through the chaos and feel in control again. When you embrace techniques that are both simple and powerful, you can move past feelings of overwhelm and into a place of clarity and resilience. Try some mindful breathing for a few minutes today, or just sit quietly and think about the things that are important to you. Taking these measured actions can lead to a life that is more balanced, and satisfying. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need some encouragement on their own path related to this topic. Post a comment saying now if you're ready to tackle your problems directly, and subscribe for additional advice that will help you find balance in your life. We can strengthen our ability to bounce back from setbacks and give life a fresh lease on life if we work together.